Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Shrimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namane Namaste Sarasvati Deve Gauravani Pacharine Nirvisesa Sunyavadi Paskatya Desatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutali Srimati Bhaktisiddhanta Sarasvati Thakur. So today we are observing the disappearance day of His Divine Grace, Bhaktisiddhanta Sarasvati Thakur, the Gurudev of our Srila Prabhupada, and a wonderful, unparalleled exponent of Krishna consciousness in modern times. And today we're going to say a few words about him. So there's a letter Prabhupada wrote where he says something about Bhaktisiddhanta Sarasvati Thakur, his guru. He said, in a letter dated January 14th, 1970 to his disciple named Hayagriva, I am so much moved from your kind sentiments that you have expressed for my humble activities. Actually, I am not worthy of any one of the words spoken by you, but all of them are due to my spiritual master, who was so kind to me. In fact, I am a worthless person because my spiritual master ordered me to take up this work in 1922, but I did not carry his order until 1958, when I was obliged to carry out his order by his arrangement only. This means, although I was not very enthusiastic to carry out his order, he forced me circumstantially to accept it. So this is his special mercy upon me, and I always think about this with gratitude to his exalted personality coming directly from Vaikuntha world, and we had the great fortune to meet him. I think that is the only credit on my part, that we happened to meet him by some agyata sukriti, or unknown auspicious activities. He is so kind upon me that when I came to your country, where I was completely unknown, he sent to me some good souls like you, unsolicited. So I accept you all as assistants or representatives of my Guru Maharaj, who is still helping me because I am so feeble and unworthy. Anyway, the business which we have taken to work together is neither your business nor my business as far as we are personally concerned, but it is the business of Lord Chaitanya and his bona fide servants like my Guru Maharaj. Therefore, it is the duty of all of us to execute it nicely as far as possible within our capacity. In other words, we shall not try to discharge our responsible duties faithfully. In other words, we shall just try to discharge our responsible duties faithfully and seriously. Then all facilities will come for our help. So this was a very nice statement by Srila Prabhupada, showing his extreme humility and attributing any accomplishments that he made to the mercy of his Guru, Bhaktisiddhanta Sarasvati Thakur. In the same way, we should today acknowledge that whatever we're able to do in devotional service is due to the mercy of our Gurudev Srila Prabhupada, Bhaktisiddhanta Sarasvati Thakur, Bhaktisiddhanta Swami. And just as he acknowledged that whatever he accomplished, it was due to the mercy of his spiritual master. And he always glorified his spiritual master in the most, let's say, appropriate terms, because without the mercy of the spiritual master, one cannot perform any devotional service to Krishna. Yasya prasada bhagavat prasada, yasya prasadana agatir katopi, dayam stutpams dasya yasastri sandam, vande guroshi charanarvindam. So vande guroshi charanarvindam is offering all respect with all humility to one's spiritual master. So this is what Prabhupada did, and today we want to glorify Bhaktisiddhanta Sarasvati Thakur, who's basically established the ability to spread Krishna consciousness all over the world. And that's exactly what Prabhupada did, taking the lead of his guru and following precisely his guru's instructions on how to do it. So, therefore, without the mercy of the spiritual master, one cannot get the mercy of Krishna. And by not pleasing the spiritual master, one cannot, as it says, by the mercy of the spiritual master, one receives the benedictions of Krishna. Without the grace of the spiritual master, one cannot make any advancement. Therefore, I should always remember and praise the spiritual master at least 3 times a day. I should offer my respectful obeisances unto the lotus feet of my spiritual master. Okay, so Prabhupada always appreciated the devotees celebrating the important dates concerning his spiritual master, such as his spiritual master's appearance day and also his spiritual master's disappearance day. And another time, Prabhupada made a very significant statement. He said, July 19th, 1970, July 19th, 1970, let's see where that is. Well, he says, I do not feel separation from my Gurudev. Whenever I look at his picture, I feel that he is present with me and inspiring me to continue devotional service. So this was Prabhupada's statement in a letter to Shyam Sundar, July 19th, 1970. And Prabhupada explained what the formula for success is. He said in December 18th, 1970, to his devotee named Krishnadas, he says, whatever I have learned from my spiritual master, I am presenting before you. And he's saying, this is the only credit I have, that I have not wavered even one at all from the teachings and desires of my spiritual master. So this is the formula for success, is strictly following the instructions of one's spiritual master. And of course, one's spiritual master should be a bona fide Vaishnava. Vaishnava means someone who worships Krishna, and obviously Lord Vishnu is an expansion of Krishna, so whether they worship the Lord in the form of Vishnu or Krishna, it comes to the same thing. So one cannot be a guru unless they are a worshipper of Krishna. So I'm going to speak a few things today from the the book called Sri Bhaktisiddhanta Vaibhava by Bhaktivikas Swami. So, on page 255 of the second volume of his book, he writes, the Guru-disciple interactions. He says, amid the atmosphere of increasing skepticism toward gurus and toward any form of authoritarian mentorship, Srila Sarasvati Thakur, in defiance of both the egalitarian zeitgeist, or meaning the feelings and opinions of people in the latter part of the 19th century and beginning of the 20th century, of egalitarianism, everyone is equal, and a languid guruship endemic that and at the same time there was really a degeneration or deterioration of accepting guru. Bhaktisiddhanta Sarasvati Thakur took an unabashedly absolute and magisterial role in relationship to his disciples, to reaffirm the sacred principle upheld by all genuine acharyas, shastras, and sampradayas, that a bona fide guru is the ultimate arbiter of the absolute truth and must be accepted as good as Godhead, because he is as good as Godhead. And there's a quote by Bhaktisiddhanta Sarasvati Thakur. He says, the transcendental spiritual master is not of this world. He is not temporary or brash of flesh and blood. He is eternal and full of knowledge and bliss, like the Supreme Lord. The spiritual master is the Supreme Lord in human form. He is not an ordinary human being. And then Bhaktivikas Maharaj writes, Srila Saraswati Thakur revealed that above even the understanding that the Guru is as good as God, if a devotee were to rise a little higher and look up, he would find that Srimati Radharani is performing the function of Guru for those who have attained to Raja Bhajana, is the source of the Guru's grace, and is the original wellspring of pure service and love. So now he quotes Bhaktisiddhanta Sarasvati Thakur, who says, it is not that Sri Radharani is not present. Even now, we can attain her lotus feet and service. If we can see the beauty of Sri Radharani's toenails in our spiritual master's lotus feet, we will no longer think about where to find her. If we are fortunate enough to attain service to and darshan of Sri Radharani's lotus feet in the darshan of our spiritual master's lotus feet, because he is non-different from Sri Radha and very dear to her. Well, this is a very lofty estimation or glorification, and it was certainly appropriate for Bhaktisiddhanta Sarasvati Thakur and for Srila Prabhupada. And when it says this, that see the beauty of Srimati Radharani's toenails in our spiritual master's lotus feet, it means that by serving the lotus feet of the spiritual master, in other words, serving the spiritual master with humility, one is also going to experience the mercy of Srimati Radharani. In Madhurya Rasa, Bhaktisiddhanta Sarasvati Thakur continues, in Madhurya Rasa, the spiritual master is an intimate Saki of Sri Radharani. He is non-different from the daughter of Rishabhanu. Only the sincere disciples of a spiritual master in Madhurya Rasa can attain darshana of the beauty of Sri Radha's toenails through the form of their guru. Only the close sisyas of a spiritual master can realize that he is a manifestation of, and thus non-different from, the daughter of King Rishabhanu, Sri Radha. Well, this is elevating the position of a bona fide spiritual master to that of a sincere servant and representative of Srimati Radharani, who is the most intimate and dear devotee of Krishna. So Bhakti Vikas Maharaj continues, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Sarasvati executed his duties as a guru most seriously and expected his disciples to reciprocate accordingly. Among Bengali Vaishnavas, the guileless sincerity required in authentic guru-disciple relationships had become widely supplanted by oily displays of affection and submission, maintained largely as a socio-religious custom. Well, in other words, it's saying that the authentic guru-disciple relationship had degenerated to one of display of affection and submission that's expressed as a socio-religious custom, as a custom rather than as reality. And through their culture, Bengali Vaishnavas had imbibed a laudable tendency to automatically offer dandavat to sadhus and elders. Yet, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Sarasvati coined the term dandavat bhakta for devotees who offered him prostration but little less, and who had no interest in hearing from him for their own betterment. So that was his coining of the phrase dandavat bhakta, someone who simply pays dandavats but does not take any interest in hearing or following seriously the instructions of the guru. In other words, their dandavat lacked in service attitude and surrender. Hence, such devotees were like lifeless sticks that fell to the ground but never did anything useful. He used to say, dandavat sahasrani kare patra nadiyate. You offer thousands of dandavat, but cannot give as much as a leaf in my hand. So in other words, he's saying that offering dandavat to the guru, but not rendering service sincerely and in a regulated way, and especially Shravanam Kirtanam, hearing the words of Guru and Krishna and repeating them. Therefore, the dandavat does not have much validity or meaning. So Bhakti Vikas Maharaj continues, desiring to purge any shreds of such attitudes from his sisyas, he declared that a disciple lacking sincere, pure, topmost devotion at the lotus feet of the bona fide spiritual master cannot be considered an actual sisya or disciple. He upheld the scripturally prescribed culture by which disciples must respect Sri Guru as the spokesman of the absolute truth and imbibe the purport of Narottam Das Thakur's declaration of Guru Bhakti, Guru Mukha Padma Vaikya, Chitete Koriya Aikya, Arana Koriya Mane Asa. Rejecting all other desires, make one with the heart of the words from the Guru's lotus mouth, or as it says in the Guru Vandana prayer, the alternate translation is Guru Mukha Padma Vaikya, Chitete Kariya Aikya, Arana Koriya Mane Asa, that my only desire is to hear the words to follow the words and desires emanating from lips of my spiritual master. I have no other desire other than that. So this essential phrase in the Guru Vandana prayer is actually the motto and theme of the disciple. His only desire is to please the Guru by following the instructions he's giving from his lotus mouth. And we sing this every day in glorification of our spiritual master. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Sarasvati did not demand respect or allegiance. He never said, you should follow me, but established on principle why a guru and why also the Gaudiya Mata should be followed. He never claimed authority based on his personality alone, but on his allegiance to Shastra and the Parampara. See, now that's a very important statement. His allegiance to Shastra, Shastra meaning the words of Krishna in Bhagavad Gita and the words of the Acharyas in Srimad Bhagavatam, and the Parampara, that is the disciplic succession coming from Krishna through Brahma and Narada to Vyasa and through Madhvacharya to the six Goswamis and to Lord Chaitanya and the six Goswamis coming down to Prabhupada, Bhaktisiddhanta Sarasvati Thakur and Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada, our Gurudev Bhaktisiddhanta Sarasvati. Bhaktivedanta. So, he regarded himself a humble servitor both of the Gaudiya Mata and the Parampara that had bequeathed upon him the service of guruship. Although he never instructed his disciples to worship him, his leading followers became inspired to do so upon considering the Shastriya injunctions for worship of Sri Guru by observing his genuine and heartfelt worship of his own gurus, and out of natural reverence, affection, and gratefulness toward their eternal Savior. And while graciously accepting the fanfare of guruship, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Sarasvati Thakur retained the intrinsic humility of a Vaishnava, addressing the paradox of a humble Vaishnava accepting honor befitting a guru. He wrote, "A real guru does not make disciples. He makes them into gurus by turning persons envious of Krishna into his devotees. If a Vaishnava does not do the work of a guru, the spiritual Vaishnava lineage will stop. Yet, if he does the work of a guru, then he becomes a non-Vaishnava. Therefore, it is not proper that an unqualified person take the role of guru. For that will be inauspicious and will lead to a downfall. A guru does not think of himself as such, due to his strong identification within his heart of being a servant of Bhagavan. If a guru thinks, I am guru, then the first you in the word guru disappears and the word becomes garu, a cow. A real guru serves Krishna 24 hours daily, having no other duty. Only one fully dedicated to Guru Seva is qualified to act as guru of others." So basically he's saying here that being dedicated to one's guru becomes a reality when one is always serving the instructions of the guru. And someone who's always serving the instructions of his guru becomes qualified to become a guru of others. A Mahabhagavata knows that all others are his gurus. Thus, only a Mahabhagavata is Jagat Guru. And he applied this to himself. Bhaktisiddhanta Sarasvati Thakur said, "I am fit only to pray for mercy from all people of the world. I and all others understand that I have been given the responsibility of guruship, even though I am exceedingly unqualified." So, if you ever read the prayer Srila Prabhupada offered when he first arrived in Boston Harbor, and he said that, basically he said over and over again, I'm not qualified to be able to preach in America and make devotees. So, therefore, Krishna, if you put the words in my mouth, then I can do this for you. But on my own, I'm not capable of doing it. So this is a very profound statement, because expressing such humility is absolutely necessary to remain a bona fide guru and to function as a bona fide guru. As soon as one becomes a little puffed up that one is so-called guru and has so many disciples and so much dakshina, etc., and has written so many different analyses and commentaries, then they become unqualified to function as a guru, because the guru has to be the most humble person and the most free of false egotism and false overestimation of their capabilities. So, Vikas Maharaj continues. He, meaning Bhaktisiddhanta Sarasvati Thakur, professed, "I am patita, fallen, whereas you," referring to his disciples, "are pavanas, purifiers. I am supposed to serve you." At his first Vyasa Puja, he addressed the disciples gathered to worship him as "my friends, rescuers from danger." In accordance with this statement, he addressed all but a few of his sisyas in the respectful form apni. Sometimes he asked disciples to bless him or ascribe to them a status higher than his own. Concluding a speech at his Vyasa Puja festival in 1936, he submitted, "I do not and will not make any sisyas. All of you are my gurus. Taking my fallen self as your disciple, be merciful to me." Similarly, in one of his last speeches, December 1936, he submitted, "I have not made any sisyas. All are my gurus. I always learn from everybody. May they kindly give me the chance to follow their ideal of bhajana." And then Bhakti Vikas continues, although he accepted formal worship, meaning Bhaktisiddhanta Sarasvati Thakur, on a level unprecedentedly high for the Gaudiya Sampradaya, particularly during the elaborate ceremonies conducted over several days during observation of Vyasa Puja in his honor, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Sarasvati made it clear that he never thought himself to be as good as or a replacement for Vyasadeva. During these celebrations, he spent much of the time discharging his usual function of representing Vyasadeva by profusely distributing the distilled essence of Vyasadeva's teachings in the form of Harikatha. His disciples also gave formal addresses, offering back to their spiritual master praise of the transcendental qualities in the language and with the understanding they had imbibed from him. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Sarasvati accepted such homage to teach the world how Sri Gurudeva should be respected as a delegate of Vyasa, and how worship of devotees is essential in the actual process for worshiping Krishna. As he explained, to worship only Krishna without also worshiping his devotees will tend toward impersonalism. From his perspective, the worship offered by his disciples was subsidiary to the opportunity that Vyasa Puja afforded him to worship Srila Vyasadeva and to worship his own gurus as non-different from Vyasadeva. On the Vyasa Puja of his 54th year, he stated, "Because from the materialistic viewpoint, I am unworthy of all the extolment or praise that you have spoken about me. As the servant of my gurus, I thus offer it all at their lotus feet regarding such extolment or praise as suitable for them." Elsewhere, he clarified how a guru accepts the role of Vyasa by maintaining an attitude of servitorship to Vyasa and his representatives. Quote, "On the occasion of his Vyasa Puja, Madhvacharya discharged the function of Acharya by sitting on the Vyasasana, expressing their loyalty to him. His followers explicate the purport of Srimad Bhagavatam by sitting on the Vyasasana, according to the tradition of receiving sacred texts in Guru Parampara. Considering one's own lack of qualification by ordinary judgment, it is forbidden to sit on the Vyasasana. Yet, may I never become inimical to the service of the Guru's lotus feet by succumbing to the evil tendency to disobey his order. Speaking softly or ceasing to speak is not a qualification for sitting on the Vyasasana. By sitting upon it, I am not rejecting the teaching to be humbler than a blade of grass. I am not under the control of malefic desires for establishing material position, thus contradicting the statements of Guru. I crave neither worldly criticism nor praise in remuneration for my actions. So here, basically, he's saying that the normal position of the disciple is to be completely surrendered and with all humility to his guru and his guru's instructions. And the proof is that he will follow those instructions without any deviation. However, normally it's forbidden to sit on the Vyasasana. Yet, he says, I may never become inimical to the service of the Guru's lotus feet by succumbing to the evil tendency to disobey his order. In other words, by strictly following the order of the spiritual master and repeating the words of Guru and Shastra without adulterating them, one becomes qualified to sit on the Vyasasana and speak boldly the Atma Tattva, or the truth about the soul and the soul's eternal relationship to Krishna. So he says, speaking softly or ceasing to speak is not a qualification for sitting on the Vyasasana. By sitting upon it, I am not rejecting the teaching to be humbler than a blade of grass. I am not under the control of malefic desires for establishing material position, thus contradicting the statements of Guru. I crave neither worldly criticism nor praise in remuneration for my actions. In other words, if he strictly repeats the words that he's heard from his Guru, and those same words that are verified and validated by Shastra, he is performing the role of Guru, but at the same time maintaining his humility and pridelessness by repeating them correctly and not changing them. That is the essential quality of a disciple who also will function as Guru later on, because he will not dare to change one word of the Shastra or one word that he's heard from his Guru. On another occasion, Bhaktisiddhanta Sarasvati Thakur expressed the attitude of a sincere disciple. Our Gurudeva was not an instructor in any subject concerned with enjoyment of this material world. Again, he was the sole unmistaking judge of all topics of this world. But I am deprived and fallen. Because of my weakness, not everything my Gurudeva said entered my heart. Yet, may I have millions of tongues and millions of heads to repeat whatever did enter my ears by his mercy, and a lifespan of millions of years in unlimited universes for broadcasting descriptions of his incomparable, non-harmful compassion. That will be my Guru Puja. He will be satisfied, and being pleased will shower unlimited benediction, whereby I will be able to broadcast descriptions of his mercy with even more millions of tongues. On that day, I will get released from the glorification of all topics related to this destructible illusion and from all kinds of mundane education within the universe. So again, he's saying, but in very, very magnificent language, that his only purpose is to repeat without any adulteration what he has heard from his Guru and what is validated by Shastra, and that he does not want to be liberated from this material world, but he wants to be born over and over again, millions of times, so he can repeat the Shastra and the words of his Guru without deviating from them. And this is his Guru's mercy, the fact that he can engage in such unadulterated preaching unlimitedly and broadcast the descriptions of the mercy of his Guru and the Parampara, especially Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And he says, by doing this, for millions and millions of lifetimes and millions of preaching opportunity On that day, I will get released from the glorification of all topics related to this destructible illusion and from all kinds of mundane education within the universe. In other words, by that constant repetition of Shastra and the words of his gurus and of Vyasa Deva, then he will not be at all enamored to be talking about mundane subjects and mundane education, because his whole focus and meditation is on repeating correctly the Shastric evidence of Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. So Bhakti Vikas Maharaj continues, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Sarasvati sometimes compared his role to that of a class monitor. However, he also said that the entire responsibility for the mission rested on himself. But since he could not do everything alone, Krishna had sent him numerous assistants. Once he revealed, a tremendous task has fallen upon me. I have to save millions of Vaishnavas. As a genuine guru worthy of genuine respect, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Sarasvati was always planning how to awaken the whole human society to Suddha Bhakti, or pure devotional service without any mundane goal. Yet he never resorted to cheap tactics, nor was he interested in accumulating cheap followers. When one sannyasi arranged for many grihastas from Midnapur district to take Harinama initiation, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Sarasvati commented, he is bringing many unctuous people just to increase his own prestige, but I don't need many pseudo-disciples. Actually, they are his disciples. So, in other words, Bhaktisiddhanta Sarasvati Thakur did not want to accept any cheap disciples. That is, people who are interested in their own prestige by accepting initiation from a exalted guru. Well, by doing that, they will not actually follow strictly all the instructions of the guru, but they will bask in their badge of honor by naming such and such person as their guru. So that's considered a cheap disciple. And Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur was not interested in mass. He was interested in class. He was not interested in having hundreds and millions of disciples. He wanted to have sincere disciples who would actually follow his instructions and actually become themselves, in their turn, gurus who would simply repeat correctly the Shastric knowledge and not mislead people into sense gratification in the name of religion, or what's called karma kanda. As a conclusion of one Navadvipa Dhamma Parikrama, Srila Saraswati Thakur was sitting on a canvas chair on the veranda of Bhakti Vijaya Bhavan and addressing departing pilgrims when he noticed Shripad Madan Mohana Das Adhikari, who had donated the full cost for constructing the main temple of Sri Chaitanya Mata, sitting unassumingly with other disciples directly on the floor without even a mat. Srila Saraswati Thakur commented that Madana Prabhu was a Nirupadi Vaishnava, a devotee without any designations, whereas he himself had the designation of Acharya, and therefore he was obliged to accept a seat above others. This remark initially sounded odd to the hearers, for Suddha Bhakti is defined as Sarvopadi Vinirmukta, free from all mundane designations. Hence, Srila Saraswati Thakur further explained that as an Acharya, he was duty-bound to establish the required protocol for disciples to respect Sri Gurudeva, as well as to receive honor to indicate the worshipable status of his own guru, analogous to a king, who, being restricted by the demands of his post, cannot independently go anywhere and everywhere or do anything and everything, but that Madana Prabhu, although of socially respectable position, was free to live as a humble Vaishnava. So this is a powerful statement by Bhaktisiddhanta Sarasvati Thakur. He's showing, or he's demonstrating, that as a guru who has accepted disciples, he has to have a very restricted life, and he has to assume a position of authority without, of course, becoming puffed up by it, but maintaining his humility, but also accepting worship and praise from his disciples. However, his disciple, Madana Prabhu, who was a wealthy man and who donated most of the funds to build the Gaudiya Mata temple, the Sri Chaitanya Mata, he was sitting on the floor even without a mat under him, and he was living as a humble Vaishnava because he had not assumed, or he had not taken a position as a guru, and therefore he always remained as a humble Vaishnava, although he was so wealthy, and although he had given so much financial help to his Gurudev, he, on the other hand, remained a very humble, unassuming disciple without asking any special treatment or any kind of honorific title, etc. So, this is very interesting because Bhaktisiddhanta Sarasvati Thakur is recognizing his disciple. That is worth more than having a title or a position when one is recognized by the Guru. And also, there's another one point I want to make here. Bhaktisiddhanta Sarasvati Thakur regularly assured his disciples that simply by adhering to his instructions, every one of them could attain Vaikuntha, or the spiritual world, in this life. He said, one can attain perfection in one lifetime by giving up independence, being surrendered, and sincerely worshiping the Lord under the Guru's guidance. And he promised that if those who remained faithful to him did not attain the topmost goal in this lifetime, then if required, he would come birth after birth to help them. Yet he would also say, all of you should finish your business in this lifetime. Why wait for another? Become fully Krishna conscious and go back to Godhead this very time. Don't risk waiting for another life, for there is no certainty. If we do not attain liberation in this lifetime, we will have to again take birth. Why is it that we do not even wish to become free from such an inconvenience? We may not always have an equivalent opportunity. As long as one is alive, take advantage and worship Hari or Krishna in the association of Vaishnavas. We will not remain in this sphere for long if we relinquish these bodies while continuously performing Hari Kirtana. That will be the fulfillment of bearing them. Okay. And Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati appreciated those disciples who, in taking his mission to heart, were prepared to undergo the difficulties that such dedication entitled. Knowing it to be for their benefit, he did not try to lighten their burden. He told them, I have been shoved around in this world without giving the world similar shoves. Neither can its ignorance be broken, nor its people attracted to the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya. Those who do not get severely rough-handled by the world cannot worship the Lord. Thus, no sincere servant of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati ever received even a drop or shadow of increased sense enjoyment from him. By constantly pointing his disciples toward their ultimate benefit, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati tried his best to keep them steadily progressing toward perfection. As he once told Srimad Parvata Maharaj, he noted the inclination and aptitude of individual devotees and accordingly recommended that they undertake particular kinds of services. He extended his association to his sisyas, disciples, by regularly touring the matas, or the temples, and organizing festivals in various branches, by having his leading preachers speak at these festivals, and by sending them touring throughout the land. He gave further opportunities for his scattered followers to avail of advanced association. So we see that, in other words, what's being said here is that he pushed his devotees to excel beyond their normal capabilities, and that pushing, that giving extra service beyond what would be considered the capacity of his devotees is what kept them on the straight and narrow path of because they were always pushed, not given any slack to, let's say, take it easy. And then once, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Sarasvati Thakur traveled with an entourage of devotees to install deities at a new temple. Although pleased with the construction and preparations for the festival, he noted the absence of one brahmachari disciple who had been residing there and inquired about him. The devotees related that the brahmachari had been misbehaving with a neighboring woman, and one night, after being severely reviled by his senior godbrothers, this disciple left with all his belongings. They were sorry that he was gone, but being busy with preparations for the temple opening, they had no time to search for him. Srila Sarasvati Thakur sorrowfully commented, "It is difficult to bring a person from the torpor, or let's say the sleeping state of Maya, into the realm of devotion. After eons, or many, many years of floundering in the waves of worldly distress, a rare, fortunate soul might at last approach the shore, meaning come to Krishna consciousness. To again push him back into the ocean is most heinous. A jiva came to us, yet somehow we have sent him back to suffer. That one soul means more to me than all these buildings and other arrangements you have made." Wow, what a big statement. He just came to start a new temple, and he says the fact that this one devotee has left because you, in a sense, pushed him out, he means more to me than this beautiful new temple that you have built. Suddenly, on hearing this, his disciples became remorseful. Suddenly, Hayagriva Prabhu, one of the disciples present there, said, "I know where to look for him." One day, a devotee's watch broke, and he immediately repaired it. He must be working in a watch shop. The devotees then scoured the city and finally found their absconding godbrother repairing watches in the back room of a shop. He began crying and said, "Krishna has answered my prayer. I have been miserable since I left the temple, but was too embarrassed to return. I have been praying to Krishna day and night that by any means he again bring me to him." The devotees responded, "Yes, you will have to come back because Guru Maharaj is greatly missing you." Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Sarasvati was delighted to see his lost disciple, who became overwhelmed by the compassion of his inconceivably merciful master. So, that gives you an idea of the dealings of Bhaktisiddhanta Sarasvati Thakur with his disciples. They were exceptional and without parallel. And he demonstrated always the highest echelon of Guru Kripa, being merciful to his disciples by always giving them the best and highest principles of devotional service to follow, and never compromising in any way with mundane activity. So now I want to read Srila Prabhupada's, Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, our Gurudev's Srila Vyasa Puja homage, offered in 1935 and published. So he says, adore, adore ye all the happy day, blessed than heaven, sweeter than May, when he, meaning his Guru, Bhaktisiddhanta Sarasvati Thakur, appeared at Puri, the holy place, my Lord and Master, his divine grace. O my Master, the evangelic angel, give us thy light, light up thy candle, struggle for existence, a human race, the only hope, his divine grace. Misled we are, all going astray, save us, Lord, our fervent pray. Wonder thy ways, to turn our face, adore thy feet, your divine grace. Forgotten Krishna, we fallen souls, paying most heavy the illusion's toll. Darkness around, all untraced, the only hope, his divine grace. Message of service thou hast brought, a healthful life as Chaitanya wrought. Unknown to all, it's full of grace. That's your gift, your divine grace. Absolute is sentient, thou hast proved. Impersonal calamity, thou hast moved. This gives us a life, anew and fresh. Worship thy feet, your divine grace. Had you not come, who had told the message of Krishna, forceful and bold? That's your right, you have the mace. Save me, a fallen, your divine grace. The line of service as drawn by you is pleasing and healthy, like morning dew. The oldest of all, but in new dress, miracle done, your divine grace. So this was Prabhupada's offering to his Gurudev in 1935. And now I want to chant and recite another offering of one of Bhaktisiddhanta Sarasvati Thakur's disciples, Srimad B.R. Sridhara Maharaj. Sujanar Bhutta Rahita Padap Yugam Yugadharma Dharandara Patravaram Varadabhayadayaka Pujapadam Pranamami Sada Prabhu Padapadam. I constantly bow to the Venerable Srila Prabhupada, Bhaktisiddhanta Sarasvati Thakur. He is most competent to propagate the process of religion for this age. Millions of highly qualified devotees adore his worshipable feet, which bestow all benedictions and grant fearlessness. Bhajanor Jitta Sajana Sangapatim Patid Adika Karuni Kaika Gatim Gativan Chittavan Chaka Chintya Padam Pranamami Sada Prabhu Pada Padam. I eternally bow to the Venerable Srila Prabhupada. Pure devotees, invigorated by loving devotional service, hold him as their master, for he is extremely compassionate to the fallen and is their only refuge. His transcendental position is inconceivable for those who are deceived regarding the ultimate destination, and also for the deceivers. Atiko malakanchana drigatanum tanunindita hemat malanamadam Madanar Bhutta Vandita Chandrapadam Pranamami Sada Prabhu Padapadam. I eternally bow to the Venerable Srila Prabhupada. His tall, golden form is exceptionally charming and delicate, mocking the pride of the golden lotus flower, and his moon-like effulgence is praised by millions of cupids. Nija sevaka taraka ranji vidum viduta hita hankrita simavaram varanagata bilasa sandapadam pranamami sada prabhu padapadam. I eternally bow to the Venerable Srila Prabhupada. He is the moon delighting its surrounding stars, his intimate servitors, and is the most ferocious lion removing with his roar all hindrances on the path of devotion. Srila Prabhupada's feet bestow good fortune to the innocent souls who have accepted him. Vipuli krita vaibhava gora bhuvam bhuvanesu vikritita gora dayam danaiya ganarpita gora padam pranamami sada prabhu padapadam. I eternally bow to the Venerable Srila Prabhupada. He broadcasted the glory of Gaura's holy land, caused the mercy of Gaura to be praised all over the world, and awarded Gaura's feet to all whom he favored. Chira Gaura Janashraya Vishwagurum Guru Gaura Kishoraka Dasaparam Paramadrita Bhakti Vinoda Padam Pranamami Sada Prabhu Padapadam. I eternally bow to the Venerable Srila Prabhupada. He is the Guru of the whole universe and the eternal shelter for devotees of Gaura. Yet he accepts service to his Guru, Srila Gaura Kishora Dasa Babaji, as the highest principle, and adores with utmost reverence the lotus feet of Srila Bhakti Vinoda Thakur. Raghurupa Sanatana Kirti Daram Daranitala Kritita Jiva Kavim Kaviraja Narotama Sakya Padam Pranamami Sada Prabhu Padapadam. I eternally bow to the Venerable Srila Prabhupada, carrying the glory of Srila Raghunatha Das Goswami, Srila Rupa Goswami, and Srila Sanatana Goswami. He proclaimed in this world the genius of Srila Jiva Goswami and is an object of friendship for Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami and Srila Narottama Dasa Thakur. Kripaya Hari Kirtana Murti Dharam Dharani Baraharaka Gora Janam Janakadika Vatsala Stikta Padam Pranamami Sada Prabhupada Padam. I eternally bow to the Venerable Srila Prabhupada, revealing his compassion. He is the very form of Hari Kirtana, and as a personal associate of Gaura, he removes the burden of the earth. He is the pleasing abode of an affection that exceeds even that of a father. Saranagata kinkara kalpatarum tarudikrita dira vadanyavaram varadendra ganarchita divya padam pranamami sada Prabhupada Padam. I eternally bow to the Venerable Srila Prabhupada, the desire tree for the surrendered servitors. He puts all ordinary trees to shame with his unparalleled tolerance and magnanimity. The gods themselves, bestowers of benediction, benedictions also worship his divine feet. Paramam Savaram Para Marta Patim Patito Dharane Krita Vesayatim Yatirajakanai Paris Savya Padam Paramami Sada Prabhupada Padam. I eternally bow to the Venerable Srila Prabhupada, possessing pure love for Krishna, the supreme objective of existence. He is the crown jewel among the most exalted transcendentalists. To deliver fallen souls, he accepted the dress of a sannyasi, and the foremost of renunciants attend his feet. Rishabhanusuta Dayitanucharam Charanashrita Renudaras Tamaham Mahadat Bhutta Pavana Shakti Padam Pradamami Sada Prabhupada Padam. I eternally bow to the Venerable Srila Prabhupada. He is a dear attendant of Srimati Radharani. I place on my head the dust from his feet, the abode of immensely astonishing purificatory potency. Srila Prabhupada, Bhaktisiddhanta Sarasvati Thakur, Ki Jai. So this is a little bit of summary of the greatness of Bhaktisiddhanta Sarasvati Thakur, his unparalleled preaching, his establishment of the Gaudiya Mata, and of course his encouragement and instruction given to Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, our Gurudev, who strictly followed his Guru's instructions, preached Krishna consciousness unabashedly with no compromising of the message, and has been able to accomplish the mission that his Gurudev gave him, that is to spread this Krishna consciousness all over the English-speaking world and all over the world. So Prabhupada is the sincere, humble, most humble, and sincere disciple of Bhaktisiddhanta Sarasvati Thakur, and he's accomplished the mission that he was given, and now he has further given that mission to his disciples to maintain what he has done and to increase it. So if we have the humility and the dedication to serving Srila Prabhupada, we will be able to accomplish this mission also of preserving what Prabhupada has done and increasing it, and never doing anything that in any way would diminish the prestige and good name of Srila Prabhupada and his ISKCON movement. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, Srila Prabhupada Bhaktisiddhanta Sarasvati Thakur Ki Jai. All glories to Vaishnava Sampradaya. Thank you. Are there any questions? Hare Krishna. Any questions? Okay, so we will now continue with Arti. Jayo Jaya Gora Chande Arati Ke Soba. Jaya 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 Jaya Jana vitatavane Jagamana loba Jayo Jaya Gora Chande Arati Kesoba Jana vitatavane Jagamana loba Gorangera rotik soba Jagajana manaloba Gorangera rotik soba Jagajana manaloba Jagajana manaloba Kibadik daki nitaya chan Manigadadhara Nikate Advaita Shini Vasachatradara Nikate Advaita Shini Vasachatradara Kibaboshi na Chingoracha Om Ratna Singha Sane Aroti Korina Brahma Adideva Ganeya Jayo Jaya Gora Chande Arati Ke Soba Jana vitatavane Jagamana loba Kibanara Hari Adi Kori Chamaradulaya Sanjaya Mukunda Vasu Gosa Adhikaya Kibashanka Adhikanta Bhaje Bhaje Karatala Madhura Midanga Bhaje Bhaje Karatala Madhura Midanga Bhaje Bhaje Karatala Shanka Bhaje Ganta Bhaje Madhur 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 Bhaje Shanka Shanka Bhaje Ganta Bhaje Madhur 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 Bhaje Madhur 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 Bhaje Madhur 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 Bhaje Kiba Bahu Koti Chandra Jini Madana Ujvala Gala de Sevana Mala Kore Jala Mala Kiba Shiva Sukha Narada Preme Bada Gada Bhakti Vinoda Dekhe Gorara Sampada Bhakti Vinoda Dekhe Manadagada Gorangera Rotik Soba Bhaja 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 Loka Gorangera Rotik Soba Jagajana Mana Loga Gorangera Rotik Soba Jagajana Mana Loba Jagajana Mana Loba Jagajana Mana Loba Kiba Jayo Haribol 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 Nitagora Haribol Nitagora Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Gora Hari Bol, Nitai Gora Hari Bol, Nitai Gora Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gora Hari Bol, Tagore Premanandi Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramananda Parajika Chasta Tarasa Tarashi Shri Srimada's Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Goswami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnavinda Ki Jai Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Prem Chagoho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Dvaitik Dadhar Shri Vasudeva Gaur Bhaktivinda Ki Jai Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gogobinath Samkunda Radha Kundagiri Govardhana Ki Jai Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai, Mayapura Dham Ki Jai, Jagadhanpuri Dham Ki Jai, Tulasi Devi Ki Jai, Bhakti Devi Ki Jai, Ganga Maya Ki Jai, Jamuna Maya Ki Jai, Samaveda Bhaktivinda Ki Jai, Nitai Gaura Premanandi. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Guru and Shri Guru, glories to Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Namaste Narasimhaya Praladadayine. Ganyakashipur Bhakshahai Shilatanka Nakalaye Hiran Ito Nishinga Parato Nishinga Yato yato yamita hato nishinha Baye nishinha Yadaye nishinha Narasimhamadim Saranam Prapade. Tavakara Kamala Barenakam Adbhuta Singam Dahalita Hiranyakashipu Tanubringam Keshavadita Narahari Rupa Jaya Jagadesha Hare Jaya Jagadesha Hare Jaya Jagadesha Hare Tavakara Kamala Barenakam Adbhuta Singham Dalita Hiranyakashipu Tanubringam Keshavadita Narahari Rupa Jaya Jagadesha Hare Jaya Jagadesha Hare Jaya Jagadesha Hare Jayo Narasingade Jaya Narasingade Jaya Narasingade Jaya Narasingade Haribo Haribo Gora Haribo Nitai Gora Haribo Nitai Gora Nitai Gora Premanandi Ki Jai Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Nrsimhadev Bhagavan Ki Jai Gaura Premanandi Haribo. Huh? Yeah. Oh. Okay. Well, let's sing some more bhajan. Samsara dava nalalida loka Chranaya karuna guna guna tvam Paptasya kalyana gunaravasya Bande guru shri charanaravinda Mahaprabhu Kirtana Nitya Gita Paditya Madhyam Manasura Sena Romanchakamba Sutaranga Bajo Bande Gururshi Charanaravindaam Shivrikahara dana nichanana Shingaratan mandira majanado Yuktasya bhaktam saniyunjatopi Vande guru shri charanarvindam Chaturvida Shri Bhagavat Prasado Swatvana Triptan Hari Bhakta Sangam Kitaiva Triptim Bhajata Sadaiva Vande Guru Shri Charanarvindam Cody, did Garuda go to get the milk? Yeah, I called this morning, but you didn't answer the phone. He didn't answer the phone either. Huh? Yes. Shiradika madhavayura para Matuya lila guna rupanam nam Pratikana dhanalolupasya Vande Guru Shri Charanarvindam Nikunjayuno Rati Kelisida Jayalibiyutira Bhiksanina Tatarati Dakshal Ati Balabasya Vande Guru Shri Charanarvindam Shadhari Trena Samasta Sastri Yuktastatabam Yavyateva Sadvi Kinto Prabhuya Priyaiva Tasya Bande Guru Shri Charanarvindam Yasha Prasada Bhagavat Prasada Yasha Prasada Nanagati Gatopi Dayam Stutvam Stasya Yasastri Sandam Vande Guru Shri Charanarvindam Bande Guru Shri Charanaravindam, Bande Guru Shri Charanaravindam. Srila Prabhupada Patita Pavani Ki Jai. Shri Guru Charana Padma, Shri Guru Charana Padma, Kevala Bhakti Sadma. Shri Guru Charan Pandumui Sahavadana Mate. Janara Prasadeva He Bhavatoriya Jai. Krishna Prapti Hoya Hoite. Guru Mukha Padma Vaikya Chitete Koriya Aikya. Arana Koriya Mane Asa. Shri Guru Charane Rati Ese Uttama Gati. E prasade Bure Sarva Hasa. Chakshudana dilaje janmi janmi Prabhu se. Chakshudana dilaje janmi janmi Prabhu se. Divya Gyani de Prakasito. Shri Guru Charana Sutiya Shri Guru Charana Rati. Shri Guru Charana Rati Se Uttama Gati. E Prasade Ye Prasade Purusavasa. Prema Bhakti Jaha Hoite Avidya Vinasa Jate. Prema Bhakti Jaha Hoite Avidya Vinasa Jate. Vede Gai Janara Charito Vede Gai Janara Charito Shri Guru Karuna Sindhu Adana Janara Bandhu Shri Guru Karuna Sindhu Adana Janara Bandhu Vedega Janara Lokena Lokera Jivana Lokena Lokera Jivana Haha Prabhu Kora Doya Deha Mori Padachaya Haha Prabhu Kora Doya Deha Mori Padachaya Ebeas Kusiki Bhuvana Ebeas Kusiki Bhuvana Ebeas Kusiki Bhuvana Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Nitya Gaur Hari Bol, Gaura Hari Bol, Nitya Gaur Hari Bol, Nitya Gaur Hari Bol, Gaura Hari Bol, Nitya Gaur Hari, Nitya Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitya Gaur Hari Bol, Nitya Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitya Gaur Hari Bol. Tagore Premanandi Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramansa Paravajikachasta Tarasatarashi Shishimada's Divine Grace. Bhaktisiddhanta Sarasvati Thakur Ki Jai. Anantakoti Vaishnavinda Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Prem Sikaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasudeva Gaura Bhaktavinda Ki Jai. Shri Radha Krishna Gopinath Sam Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhana Ki Jai. Shri Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai, Shri Mayapura Dham Ki Jai, Jagannath Puri Dham Ki Jai, Tulasi Devi Ki Jai, Bhakti Devi Ki Jai, Ganga Maya Ki Jai, Jamuna Maya Ki Jai, Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai, Nitai Gaur Premanandi. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Guru and Shri Guranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Patita Pavana Ki Jai. The lotus feet of our spiritual master is the only way by which we can attain to pure devotional service. I bow down to his lotus feet with great awe and reverence. By his grace, one can cross the ocean of material suffering and obtain the mercy of Krishna. My only wish is to have my consciousness purified by the words emanating from his lotus mouth. The attraction to his lotus feet is the perfection that fulfills all desires. He opens my darkened eyes and fills my heart with transcendental knowledge. He is my Lord, birth after birth. From him, ecstatic prema emanates. By him, ignorance is destroyed. The Vedic scriptures sing of his character. Our spiritual master is the ocean of mercy, the friend of the poor, and Lord and master of devotees. O Master, be merciful unto us. Give us the shade of your lotus feet. Your fame is spread throughout all the three worlds. We take shelter of your lotus feet. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Srila Prabhupada Bhaktisiddhanta Sarasvati Thakur. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Nitai Gaur Premanandi. Haribol. So, Pushpanjali. Om Aganyatimirandasya Yananjana Salakaya Chaksurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I offer my respectful obeisances unto my spiritual master, who has opened my eyes, which were blinded by the darkness of ignorance with the torchlight of knowledge. Sri Chaitanya Manubhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutali Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam. When will Srila Rupa Goswami Prabhupada, who has established within this material world a mission to fulfill the desire of Lord Chaitanya, give me shelter under his lotus feet? Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaisnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahaguna Ragunatanvitam Tam Sajivam Saidvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahaguna Lalita Shri Vishaka Nibitam Shah. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the lotus feet of my spiritual master and of all the other preceptors in the path of devotional service. I offer my respectful obeisances unto all the Vaishnavas and unto the 6 Goswamis, including Srila Rupa Goswami, Srila Sanatana Goswami, Raghunatha Dasa Goswami, Jiva Goswami, and their associates. I offer my respectful obeisances unto Sri Advaita Acharya Prabhu, Sri Nityananda Prabhu, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and all his devotees, headed by Srivasa Thakura. I then offer my respectful obeisances unto the lotus feet of Lord Krishna, Srimati Radharani, and all the gopis, headed by Lalita and Vishaka. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namani. I offer my respectful obeisances unto His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, who is very dear to Lord Krishna, having taken shelter at His lotus feet. Namaste Sarasvati Deve, Gauravani Pracharine, Nirvisesa Sunyavadi, Paschatya Desatarine. Our respectful obeisances are unto you, O spiritual master, servant of Sarasvati Goswami. You are kindly preaching the message of Lord Chaitanya Deva and delivering the Western countries which are filled with impersonalism and voidism. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktisiddhanta Sarasvati iti namine. I offer my respectful obeisances unto His Divine Grace, Bhaktisiddhanta Sarasvati, who is very dear to Lord Krishna, having taken shelter at His lotus feet. Shivarsavanavi Devi, Daitaya Kripabdaye, Krishna Sambandha Vijnana, Daine Prabhave Namaha. I offer my respectful obeisances to Shrila Varsavanavi Devi Daita Dasa, another name of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Sarasvati, who is favored by Srimati Radharani and who is the ocean of transcendental mercy and the deliverer of the science of Krishna. Madhur Ujvala Premadya Shri Rupanuga Bhaktita Shri Gora Karuna Shakti Vigrahaya Namostute. I offer my respectful obeisances unto you, the personified energy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy, who delivered devotional service enriched with conjugal love of Shri Radha and Krishna, coming exactly in the line of revelation of Srila Rupa Goswami. Namaste Gauravani Shri Murtaye Dinatarine Rupanuga Virudapa Apasiddhanta Dvantaharine. I offer my respectful obeisances unto you, who are the personified teachings of Lord Chaitanya. You are the deliverer of the fallen souls. You do not tolerate any statement against the teachings of devotional service enunciated by Srila Rupa Goswami. Namo Gora Kishoraya Shakshad Vairagya Murtaye Vipralambara Sambodhe Padambu Jayate Namaha. I offer my respectful obeisances unto Srila Gorkishora Dasa Babaji Maharaja, the spiritual master of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Sarasvati, who is renunciation personified. He is always merged in a feeling of separation and intense love of Krishna. Namo Bhakti Vinodaya Satchidananda Namine Gora Shakti Swarupaya Rupanuga Varayate. I offer my respectful obeisances unto Srila Satchidananda Bhakti Vinoda, who is the transcendental energy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He is a strict follower of the Goswamis, headed by Srila Rupa Goswami. Gauravir Baba Bhumestvam Nirdesta Sajjana Priya Vaishnava Sarvabhuma Shri Jagannatayate Namaha. I offer my respectful obeisances to Srila Jagannatha Dasa Babaji, who is respected by the entire Vaishnava community and who confirmed the discovery of the place where Lord Chaitanya appeared. Vanchakalpaturabhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyevacha Patittanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. I offer my respectful obeisances unto all the Vaishnava devotees of the Lord. They are just like desire trees, who can fulfill the desires of everyone, and they are full of compassion for the fallen, conditioned souls. Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gurachuse Namaha. O most munificent incarnation, you are Krishna himself, appearing as Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. You have assumed the golden color of Srimati Radharani and you are widely distributing pure love of Krishna. We offer our respectful obeisances unto you. Panchatattvatmakam Krishnam Bhaktarupa Swarupakam Bhaktavataram Bhaktakyam Namami Bhaktasaktikam. I offer my obeisances unto the Supreme Lord Krishna, who is non-different from his features as a devotee, devotional manifestation, devotional incarnation, pure devotee, and devotional energy. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopisha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate. O my dear Krishna, O ocean of mercy, O friend of the distressed and the source of creation, O master of the cowherdmen and the lover of the gopis, especially Srimati Radharani, I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. Jayatam Surator Pangur Mama Manda Mater Gati Matsarvasva Padambojo Radha Madana Mohano. Glory to the all-merciful Radha and Madan Mohana. I am lame and ill-advised, yet they are my directors, and their lotus feet are everything to me. Divyat Vrindaranya Kalprudumadaha Shimad Ratnagara Simhasanastuto Shimad Radha Shila Govinda Devo Prestali Bihi Sevyamano Smarami. In a temple of jewels in Vrindavana, underneath the desire tree, Shri Radha Govinda, served by their most confidential associates, sit upon an effulgent throne. I offer my humble obeisances unto them. Shiman Rasa Rasarambi Vamsivata Tatastitaha Karsan Venuswaner Gopir Gopinatak Striye Stuna. Sri Srila Gopinatha, who originated the transcendental mellow of the rasa dance, stands on the shore in Vamsivata and attracts the attention of the cowherd damsels with the sound of his celebrated flute. May they all confer upon us their benediction. Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanustute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye. I offer my respectful obeisances to Srimati Radharani, whose bodily complexion is like molten gold, and who is the queen of Vrindavana. You are the daughter of King Vrishabhanu, and you are very dear to Lord Krishna. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is always accompanied by his plenary expansion, Sri Nityananda Prabhu, his incarnation, Sri Advaita Prabhu, his internal potency, Sri Gadadhara Prabhu, and his marginal potency, Sri Vasa Prabhu. He is in the midst of them as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. One should know that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is always accompanied by these other tattvas. Therefore, our obeisances to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu are complete when we say, Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Sri Advaita Gadadhar, Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Om Nama Om Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. These three words, namely Hare, Krishna, and Rama, are the transcendental seeds of the Maha Mantra. The chanting is a spiritual call for the Lord and his internal energy, Hara, to give protection to the conditioned soul. This chanting is exactly like the genuine cry of a child for its mother. Mother Hara helps the devotee achieve the grace of the Supreme Father Hari, or Krishna, and the Lord reveals himself to the devotee who chants this mantra sincerely. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhaktisiddhanta Sarasvati Iti Namini Shivasavanavi Devi Daitaya Kripabdaye Krishna Sambandhak Vijnana Dayane Prabhave Namaha Madhur Ujvala Primadya Shri Rupanuga Bhaktida Shri Gora Karuna Shakti Vigrahaya Namostute Namaste Gauravani Shri Murtaye Dinatarine Rupanuga Virudapa Apasiddhanta Dvantaharine Eso Pushpanjali Swaha. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Rama Hare Krishna Hare Rama Shrila Bhaktisiddhanta Sarasvati Thakur ki jai. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Rama Hare Krishna Hare Rama Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Madhur Ujvala Premadya Rupanuga Shri Rupanuga Bhaktida Shri Gora Karuna Shakti Vigrahaya Namostute Namaste Gauravani Murtaye Dinatarine Rupanuga Virudapa Apasiddhanta Dvantaharine Esa Pushpanjali Swaha. Rama Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Om Nama Om Vishnu Padaya,
Nama Om Vishnu Padaya,
Krishna Pestaya Bhutale,
Krishna Vestaya Bhutale,
Srimati Bhaktisiddhanta Sarasvati Iti Namini,
Sarasvati Namine,
Shivasavani Devi,
Vasavana Videvi,
Daita Kripabdaye,
Daitaya Kripaptaye,
Krishna Sambandha Vijnana,
Krishna Samanda Vigana,
Dayane Prabhave Namaha,
Ayine Devave Namaha,
Madhur Ujvala Premadya,
Madhur Jala Pramada,
Shri Rupa Nuga Bhaktida,
Shirupanu Bhavakita,
Shri Gora Karuna Shakti,
Shri Gaura Karuna Shakti,
Vigrahaya Namostute,
Namaste,
Namaste Gauravani,
Namaste Gauravani,
Shri Murtaye Dinatarine,
Shrimurte Dinatarine,
Rupanuga Virudapa,
Shirupanu Gavirudapa,
Apasiddhanta Dvantaharine,
Harine,
Isha Pushpanjali Swaha. Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Sarasvati Thakur ki jai. Thank you very much for coming to the program. Bhaktisiddhanta Sarasvati Thakur was instrumental with his father also, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, of clearing away all the obstacles to preaching Krishna consciousness and pure devotional service, Srila Bhakti, all over the world. Up until the time of Bhaktivinoda Thakur, it was very difficult to preach Krishna consciousness in its pure form because things had become so adulterated and there were so many bogus apasampradayas preaching basically sense gratification, a type of sense gratification as Krishna consciousness. And to clear all those misconceptions, it required someone of the stature of Bhaktivinoda Thakur, who wrote 100 books or more explaining the philosophy correctly of Krishna consciousness, and then giving the whole mission to his son to set up an organization that could spread the movement worldwide and maintain it, at least till the end of this golden age of 10,000 years. So we have the greatest debt of appreciation to Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Gaur Kishore Babaji, and especially Bhaktisiddhanta Sarasvati Thakur, the Guru Dev of our Guru, Srila Prabhupada, His Divine Grace Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada. So we should meditate on the great contributions that have been made by our acharyas, and especially Bhaktisiddhanta Sarasvati Thakur and Srila Prabhupada, to enable us in these far reaches, far away from India, to be introduced to pure Vaishnavism and to be able to follow it in these beautiful temples, which are like Vaikuntha, all by the mercy of our great acharyas, and especially Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada and his Gurudev Bhaktisiddhanta Sarasvati Prabhupada. Hari Bol. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Okay, we're going to sing some Vaishnava songs to glorify His Divine Grace, and this most auspicious of His Disappearance Day. So you're welcome to stay.